Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have an open box video for you from NGC. And one of the biggest things that I want you to be aware of is I hate it when they put the coins in backwards in the box. So I gotta turn the whole thing around now. All right, so for those of you keeping track at home, these guys here. This group was sent in on the standard service. It took about 5 weeks turnaround. Now, at the time of this filming, they're taking 2 to 3 weeks to even enter coins into their database after they've received them. I know this because I can tell when they received the coins based on the tracking. So they are way behind. So right now, standard service is taking like 8 weeks. So here, as I'm talking about other stuff, is a really lovely $3 gold piece. And something that I don't get really nice $3 gold pieces in often. I think if I were to specialize in something and just have only one coin in my shop, like the guys who they specialize in something and they only have, patterns, or they only have territorial gold, I think it'd be $3 gold pieces. How cool would it be to go to a coin shop and like all they had was $3 gold pieces? That would be, I think, lots of fun. Lots of fun. So we don't get to see these guys very often, so I should probably take a look and so you can see. I'm just going to slow down and let the imaging do the talking, so you can see just how beautiful these coins are. This is the first year of mintage. I love the design. Got the date right in the center. Got the big $3 on there. Hard to believe sometimes these were actually circulating coins. They've got the wreath pattern on the back, which is similar to that of a flying eagle cent, kind of from the same vintage. And this one has a mintage of about 138,000 pieces. It has actually quite a bit of luster left to it. We'll see if we can get some of that luster to flow here for you as we turn the coin. And gold is tricky because it's soft and the luster comes off pretty quick on some of these guys. You get a little bit of flatness above the hairline there, but don't be deceived. Some of that is the strike, because then what we're going to do, see there's flatness on the eyebrow too, which is some of that strike, because you see just how rounded her cheek still is and the truncation of her bust and some of that other stuff. A lot of those high points are still really bold. So this one they called an AU55. It's a really nice coin. Overall, it's probably about $1,000 coin in today's market. One more note for you guys is, for those of you who don't know this and you ask about the coins, if they're still available at the time the video launches, if you go to the video description, there'll be a whole list of links to the specific coins, because they'll be either on our website or sometimes on eBay, just kind of depending on whether or not we still have them in stock and where we are putting them for sale. So next up, we have this 1921. This is actually a really nice version of the 21, and you can sometimes tell just by looking at them, based on the hairline and stuff, whether or not it's from the Philly mint or a different mint. These mint marks are tiny. I swear they just took the mint mark from the dime and stuck it on here, the mercury dime, and just went, here you go. So this coin is interesting because you've got all these nice little cracked lines from the strike. I think I should have had coffee this morning because I am not words right now. But that crack goes all around this coin, not 100%, but nearly. So overall, this guy's a really lovely looking coin. They have such an odd look because they're so flatly struck. NGC call this a mint state 64. Nice grade, good grade. Anytime I find these where I've got this amazing wheel of luster in the front and it's uninterrupted with marks, that is something that I tend to like to send in on the 21s. I really like it when you see these big open fields with just a few marks. There's a little mark there. And then after that, these guys are so flat and ugly, that cheek, it comes so abraded on these guys. And this one's pretty clean. I mean, it's okay to have a little bit of the small contact marks. You just want to avoid the bigger contact marks. And then this coin has something, a little bit of mark right over the ear there, that's hidden a little bit by the hairline. but all in all, a nice coin. That is a coin that actually is pretty strong in 64. I think if I looked it up right, it's close to a $300 coin in 64. You see them a lot more in 63. All right, so this coin we're going to have some fun with on a couple of different accounts. First of all, it's got some interesting toning to it, and ooh, look at that. Look at that. And here comes Ben talking about split grading again. For all y'all who hate it when I talk about that, you may want to mute me until this coin's gone. But I'm assuming that some of you listen with the audio still on instead of muting. I'm naive that way. So, you got a little contact mark above there. I actually asked them to slab this with the reverse facing forward, and they didn't do it. Typically, when I just write on the submission form, hey, slab facing forward, they do it for me. This reverse of this coin is just stunning. Stunning. So this is the 1878, and it's the 7-tail feather variety. Now, what's interesting to me is we're going to have to dive closer and look beneath the toning on the obverse, because they only called it a 63, which, let's see if we can find a bigger mark that's distracting, that's going to hit the grade that hard. You got a little bit of a mark there on the cheek that's running from under the eye to the ear, and you have a little bit of some tiny marks on the chin. The open field seems pretty good. You got some more marks right there on the neckline. And overall, I'm going to have to see how we're going to price this guy, because, I was a little bit disappointed on this one in the grade, because, I don't see anything that's keeping this coin from being a higher grade. And the reverse is stunning. I haven't talked about cracking a coin out that I just got back for a while. I'll probably just price this thing. There's a big price difference. 63s are a couple hundred, 64s are 300s. Even if this is just a straight 63 with this eye appeal, it's probably a $300 coin anyway. So I might not crack it out. So it just so happens that I had two of these guys. They were both in an album together. This nice old school album. And this one, there's got a lot of the toning on the front too. And you can see there's heavier marks around the eye. Okay, and so you can see the thumbprints that intervene in the toning. Those contacts on around the eye are pretty visible. Let's get a pan out here. The reverse on this coin is also nice. It does not have the same wow factor that the other coin has. You got a contact mark there to the left of the bird, and you've got a lot of little contact marks here on the field. Overall, though, the reverse is really nice, and this one was also graded a 63. A little bit easier for me to understand once we got the close-up, because you can see there's a little bit of a quality difference between the two coins. In overall eye appeal, strike, contact marks. So once again, I'd like to see that one get into a 4-holder. Maybe we'll just price it, and one of you guys can crack it and then put it on Instagram for me when it comes back at 64, and we can go from there. I had a collection of peace dollars that came in. It wasn't in a full set. The coins were individually wrapped and housed, and they all had really great luster. It was really kind of a fresh looking series of coins. They also had a lot of these unusual colorations and markings to them. So like this is a contact mark up here, of course, under the U, but then you had a lot of these little just slight marks throughout the coins. This one is the 1928 from San Francisco. And so the reverse has a lot of really small contact marks on it. Overall, not too many bigger contact marks. And the obverse, these things are interesting because you can always kind of tell some of the San Francisco mints, they get just really kind of faint in the hairline. And then they also have a little bit of a rounded rim to them. The edge is a little bit rounded on those. You see how much extra rim you have before you get to the reading. So a lot of the San Francisco mint coins are like that. So you got a couple of more noticeable marks on Lady Liberty's neck. The field's really pleasing though, and you got a few marks on her cheek. MS63, nice coin, decent grade. This is probably about 400 bucks or so. Next grade up though is like 700. There's a big jump on that coin, and overall, really nice coin. You know, piece dollars, once you get in the back half of the series, are really tough to get. The nice thing is here we get two of them. We get to compare these two coins, one right after the other. You've got another one. You can see the difference in the strike on this. This one is, look at the detail in the hair is a lot more than you'll see on a lot of 28S's, because a lot of them will have that flatness to them. And once again, this series of coins that I was talking about, a lot of them have this, see this little discoloration right there above the eagle shoulder? So that's going to be kind of a pattern, and there's a little bit more on the tail. And I had some coins that came back earlier this year, a little bit higher grade, sent them in on a higher, they were kind of on my priority to send in because they were tougher coins. You can see the big markup here under E pluribus, like someone was underlining it, like that's right out of one, we are many, that's it. So this one also came back as 63. Interesting, the two coins, because you know there's a bigger contact mark on the back of the one here on the left, which is noticeable, but it also has a strike that's a lot stronger than you'll see on most San Francisco coins. If you look at the hairline, the hair that's closest to her cheekbone, that's where you get this flatness. Rarely will you see a 28S piece dollar with that much hair available. All right, we're getting back with the piece dollar thing here, because once again we've got, so I want to tell you more about these coins. They were all housed and they had some of the plastic, and the plastic left these lines and marks on them, but they're not really contact marks. It's just kind of like a, I don't want to say residue, because it's not really a residue. See, but there is some residue. What was interesting about the whole series is you see those little bumps. That's actually some type of residue, but I did not acetone or do anything to take those off, and they still got a straight grade on this coin. There's some more of that toning I was talking about. That also is from that plastic that was in contact with these coins. So I want to say that all these coins were nice and original, and none were cleaned. Now, I think I wouldn't be a very good movie writer, or maybe they all foreshadow, but you get the idea here. This 26D came back in MS64. Really nice grade. You can see the quality is a little bit nicer than those 28S's. There are fewer contact marks throughout the fields and on the cheek. Really nice coin. About a $350 coin currently in this market. Really nice coin. It's hard to come by nice piece dollars. Did I say that already? I think I may have. All right, so we're going to see that pattern pop up here on this 27D. There's some more of that little bit of toning that's popping up. Now this one you can see has a lot more contact marks throughout the field. And I want to distinguish once again between those contact marks, and then you have those lines that aren't really contact marks. There's nothing cutting into the metal on that, and then a lot more contact marks right there on the neckline. And you can see when I talk about the coins having distracting marks, and the rest of the coin can be really stunning, and then it'll have some distracting marks to it, and how that should get you net graded down to a 63. So once again, the marks on here are a little heavier. When you compare that to some of the 28S's, those two 28S's, you know, that one 28S, the first one, really looked like it could have gone a grade stronger on that. So, and then I just wanted to show again that little toning spot that's on the A on that, because it was just an interesting group of coins. And we're going to start to see something here that's a little bit different. I don't know if I mentioned that 27D in 63 is about a $400 coin. All right, so this coin, here we go. You see what I see again? See all those marks? This is almost like having fingerprints. I don't mean literally, but you know, telltale signs. These coins were all together. In fact, when guys look at Unk rolls and they say, well, this roll was not all put together at the same, is not an original roll. They'll say it's put together, because what they look for is kind of telltale signs of, you know, like markers that are consistent throughout all the coins. So this coin, it's a little bit different because, you know, we talk about the coin going black and blue or black and white, where when you get it at an angle, it really drops off. You know, you no longer have that white tone like this one on the left. That white tone is there kind of at every angle as we turn it, and then you turn this and it kind of gets a little darker faster at this angle. So they call this one cleaned. Now this is all from the same original group of piece dollars, so you can see it has those little toning spots to it. I didn't think they would call this cleaned. It does not have any hairlines to it. I don't think that it has ever been dipped. The obverse looks really great, but once again, it's just got that little bit of darkness at that angle where you want to get it at this angle, and you want it to have, you know, still have a lot more of the light when you turn it. And that's a sign sometimes that a coin has been wiped. If that luster, if that color really disappears at that angle, I don't want to overstate it, because, you know, then you'll be staring at it all day and get confused. So, but they called this Unk Details cleaned, and I've been kind of back and forth on this coin in my mind because, you know, I don't know. I just kind of think it's a nice coin. I don't know that I would have necessarily called it cleaned. Those are coins that these 1930, the 1934, you know, a nicer 64 is about a $250 coin. We're going to move on to this 1935, and it's going to be a little bit of the same story, different day. Here's some of those toning spots again, like we saw on all the previous coins. You got a couple of contact marks, you know, throughout the field and on the cheek and the neckline, but they're all smaller marks. And then you've got, you know, the reverse is actually pretty nice on this coin overall. Now, 1935, one of the easier dates in the latter half of the series to come by. They call this Unk Details cleaned as well. You know, also not quite feeling love on this. You know, an MS63 is $150 and MS64 is $200. So it's not, it doesn't have these big jumps that a lot of these other coins do that we run into. And we're going to compare that to this 1935 that is from the San Francisco Mint. Once again, a real solid looking coin. You know, there's that real small S Mint mark on there that I joked they took it from the Mercury dime and just stuck it on there. A few distracting marks up here in the field and on the back of the neck, but overall, really a great looking coin. You got a little bit more of a mark there over the L and dollar. This coin they called an MS63. So you can see that this has a few more distracting marks, especially when they're like right there on the cheek. And then that bigger mark on the L, there's some more of our little friends, our little toning friends. So it's difficult because when you compare the two coins, you know, they're calling this one cleaned on the right and the one on the left they're not. You know, once again, not so sure about that being called cleaned. I'm okay with the 63 grade. You got the bigger distracting marks, but overall the rest of the coin quality is really high on that coin, that 35S. It's about a $400 coin. It jumps to about $600. It gets me back to that saying that a coin is always one grade lower than you think it is. All right, but speaking of coins being a grade lower, you know, once in a while a coin maybe comes back a grade higher than you thought, and you know how tough they are on these ADSs. We're going to take a good close look at this guy here, because overall, you know, you can see once again a strong field. This coin I did not crack out. This coin was raw. I just want to point out the really great field throughout there. Lack of contact mark in the hair. Once again, you have these minor marks on the cheek that are not actually contact marks as much as they are just little scuffs breaking the luster. The one that I'd consider to be a contact mark. So when you start to see the metal move a little bit, that's going to be, so most of this stuff is just like breaks in the luster. The one right about here is the one I want to show you that's actually something that I would call a contact mark. As you look closer, you can see it kind of digs into the metal there, just a hair, but the field's really solid. And then the reverse is, of course, stunning. Partially because it has a little bit of a proof-like effect to it. And this coin came back at 66 plus. Really nice eye appeal on the coin. 66 is trade at like $300 and 67 is at like $750. I'll have to look and see kind of where the in-between is on these. I don't think it's a huge jump from 6 to 6 plus, but it might go from 3 to 400, but we'll see. If somebody really likes the coin and they want to fight for it on an auction, they may go ahead and do that, and it may go for a lot more. You never know. Guys, as always, I forget to say like, subscribe, share, because I don't know how YouTube works. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments in the box below.